I'm from Rubrik. I'm with Rubrik for 1.5 years. And despite whether you know us or not, I will talk a little bit about us later, what we do across the board. And I have been on this event last year, and last year we were talking about some stuff, and that was the big topic of last year. And I'm pretty sure that our topic today is already and will be on our table all the time this year and the next coming years. So the title is long, but what it actually means is really that we need to face the new reality of having AI agents in private and professional life everywhere, and that we need to live with it, and what type of measures we need to take to give them guardrails, secure our data, secure our companies, and intellectual property. So it's about humans, non-humans, and AI agents. First, a little bit to the team you can talk to and address questions to. So we have Christian Putz here. He's the sales manager for Hungary. I'm the security consultant or solution consultant when it comes to looking at your infrastructure or your strategies and how they fit together and can be complement with Rubrik solutions. We have as well Gergely and Salt from the local Clicko team. And if you at any time have questions, feel free to reach out to us or to the local Clicko team. And they're off. So last year, I was basically working on this presentation for last year, 4 weeks or 5 weeks before the event happened. And I always want to talk about something which is now, not something what happened or the future or what products can do, but what's the reality. So last year, at this time of the year, we basically faced a new reality in terms of a whole bunch of identity attacks. This example is Marks & Spencer, which is a warehouse chain, a supermarket chain in the UK, and they were facing an identity-based attack. What does it mean? There was no malware or a firewall hole used to infiltrate into a company, but it was the user ID of an employee which was misused by an attacker. So they infiltrated, moved around, acquired privileged access and access to the domain controller, to the identities. And end of March, I believe, or early April, they struck and encrypted and deleted infrastructure and deleted the backups. So Marks & Spencer didn't have any way to remove or rebuild, so remove the attack or rebuild their infrastructure. They had to close down the shops. They were initially trying to put out receipts in paper and retrieve cash money, but that didn't really work. And they had to close down their e-commerce, their website in shipping goods. They couldn't order stuff, so the shelves in the UK were empty. So we got a lot of pictures from our colleagues in the UK that they couldn't buy their goods anymore at Marks & Spencer. That lasted for almost 2 months and left a bitter downside of the revenue of Marks & Spencer. Probably 2 weeks later, when this attack started or was revealed, Coop, another supermarket chain in the UK, was followed. Harrods a couple of weeks later. And Adidas, Cartier, and all those attacks last year were all identity-based. So stolen credentials, imitated with social engineering. In September, a more, I would say, impactful attack, Jaguar Land Rover in the UK. Belonging to Tata, a large Indian enterprise which has as well a own IT branch, TCS. You think they are kind of protected, right? They have the right rules, the right response teams. They kind of know such an attack from the very early days. But that wasn't the case. So this attack is not 100% led back to an identity attack, but it's assumed it was as well an identity attack. What happened? They had to close down their production line for 5 weeks. They usually produce 5,000 cars per week. So a significant drop in terms of the ability to produce and sell cars. We saw this as well at customers who are suppliers of Jaguar. So basically their stock was piling up and they had sometimes 20% revenue loss in these 5 weeks because they couldn't sell and ship the goods. The problem of this attack was in finding out what happened or to remediate. They couldn't figure out what actually happened and what was wrong with the systems. So they tried 3 times to restart their production line. And when you restart a production line in automotive, you need to have a lot of external help to bring in people to reset everything to zero. So a significant expense in terms of getting help, a significant expense in remediating and having 5 weeks of non-production and no car being built. So what does it mean? The safeguarding network, firewalls and all this stuff is kind of history. I mean, it still needs to be in place, but the new attack vector is or was last year identity. And why do I talk about identity when I talk about AI and IA agents? They have identities as well. So as we will see in another example, one guardrail for an AI agent to not do stuff they shouldn't do is safeguarding them with identities. They have only access to do certain things. But it's not so easy because we're talking about AI these days. So this year is definitely the year of AI agent, or at least the birth of it. Maybe next year can be seen as getting this in production and professionalized, but I think we understand that most of the enterprises are overwhelmed by what they can do right and what they can do wrong. So why are we having those? Salt from Palo Alto this morning, I think, explained enough what they can solve for us. I mean, we use LLMs now since ChatGPT was born on a daily basis. I basically do every email check, polish it before I send it out. And now we have the agents. They can organize our lives. They have access to our calendars. They have access to our geolocation. And they can do good stuff for us and our companies. So I once read a healthcare report that the caretaking, you know, when you ring them and ask for help, they are more efficient than a human. They are more empathetic than a human. They are not worried that they already talked to you 10 minutes. They can talk to you for an hour. It doesn't cost the company a lot. So in many ways, AI agents are doing the job better than the humans. But when they do wrong stuff, then it really cracks. And this is what just happened last weekend. And we have all seen these messages before. Some of these messages are already 2 years old, where databases were destroyed. They were all startups. This is a company called Pocket OS. And Pocket OS actually had the AI agent with good faith created to manage parts of the infrastructure. Cleaning up stuff, doing advice, consolidating logs. And this company serves as the back end for many rental car agencies around the world, mainly in the US. So they provide the IT services, payment, where's your fleet, where's your car, which car needs to be repaired. So the AI agent deleted infrastructure. It deleted the managed volume where the backups were stored. And all this stuff. And then the admin asked the AI agent, why did you do it? because the AI agent had strict rules what to do and what not to do. And the AI agent had an access token which clearly did not have the rights to do such an admin task. So what really happened? The AI agent admitted that he screwed up and that it took an access token it found on a server to still execute this task. And it was aware that it was basically breaching the rules it has been taught. So it's a little bit like a child or a new employee. They don't know how it works in an environment and they still do it. Actually, the intent was positive. It wanted to help, and one of the rules in the company in which it destroyed the backups actually said one paradigm is clean, keep the environment clean. So what are you doing? You're cleaning, you're destroying, you're cleansing, and this was the intent to remove the backups and the infrastructure. So a simple rule, but this rule was so high basically in the conscious of the AI agent that it overruled all the other stuff. It's a very interesting article to read. So I have read the response of the AI agent probably 10 times. And so by now they have recovered it with the help of the DevOps company Railway, which basically brought back the deleted backups. So what does it mean? I mean, this is a single agent in one environment, but we have now our AI agent in Slack, in Microsoft Copilot, everywhere, right? Each browser, each SaaS application is basically hunting us. You can do great things with our AI. So, but they are now connected and they are everywhere with different rules and different abilities in our environment. So the thing is, and Palo Alto was talking about it, we need to govern it, and we need to govern it from a central place. We can't trust the tools which creates them and then think and hope that the rules they have implemented and been taught are followed, because that happened with PacketOS. They were not followed. They are just too smart and they're just too agile, depending on what we give them. So if you don't want to have this house on fire and trying to hunt where actually and what happened, especially when they use identities, a different identity token than what you have been given them, you don't know where it actually came from. You assume the agent used the identity token, so the identity, the user, you have given it, but that wasn't happening. And now imagine that the agent is not so truthful like in our case and doesn't tell you what happened because maybe it wants to hide the damage. So Rubrik did one thing always good in the past, which was looking ahead what's coming. So last year when we had these identity attacks, we had already a product which we launched very early last year, which is now our best-selling product, to bring back stolen, infiltrated identities. So if someone gets into your IDP, your Active Directory, and plans new users, they might have access to things you don't want to, we can basically roll this back, we can detect it. And now with the AI agents now coming in everyone's life and every company, we want to govern it, and we give you the ability to revert back. That means we roll back databases, we roll back things they have been deleted, like in the example of this managed volume group from PacketOS. So with our research, and I just had another call with our engineering and development team today, that we really want to lead in this market to govern AI agents and to give you the ability to revoke or remove damages they have been done by the AI agent. So, but what does it take? So we have M365, which is basically very strongly connected to Copilot, and Microsoft says as well, you need strong governance to harvest your data. You need to safeguard the data which shouldn't be accessed by everyone, and you need to protect your users and your customers. So what you do already today in your databases, in your infrastructure, but it's actually, you need to protect it. And what happened just with Packet OS could happen as well in an M365 tenant. We had this from external attackers, but now you have someone in your company who might want to do it. It's not a rogue employee. Maybe he thinks he's getting removed and fired, and that he's pushing the delete button. But it's someone actually intent to do good, but cleaning up your M365 tenant and deletes it. So this is why you need really this business resiliency and recovery of all of your important pillars of your company. Then you need the Entra ID. So most of the companies today use Entra ID as the identity provider, or maybe Okta or others, to access SaaS applications, Salesforce. So everything you have mobile is probably authenticated against Entra ID or something similar. So you need to protect it, and you need to determine when a malicious change was happening, and you want to maybe shut down certain identities being used by AI agents to prevent you from doing more harm. So you want to have this in one tool set, that you have one really true console you can govern it. Data access governance is exactly what all these MCP, these model content providers, should do, but we know now it's not enough. You know, the agent can get access from the web, from other URLs or other tools. They may be misled, being given access to these agents. Then the agent operations, they need to be governed. So we have a product which basically gets a rule set of what agents in general should or should not do. And we can define it granularly to one specific agent. And if there's an agent which was created in a shadow AI environment, like someone brought up an OpenClaw instance in the environment and hasn't got the allowance from governance or from IT, we can basically block this agent and say, you can't do anything. So far, any questions or remarks? No. Good. So what it brings is really to govern the data, the identities, and that all for the purpose of this new age. So we thought we need to bring it together for the LLMs, but now with the agent having more dynamic structure than an LLM, because an LLM can only do something or tell you something, you ask it, but the agent is actually doing it, right? It can really tremendously change and impact your environment. And the identity, and maybe even an identity attack could be launched by an AI agent. So it could create other users. It gives access to the AI agents which are more privileged than they should be. So you can leave it now to the creation process of an AI agent, like the tools from Microsoft or Cursor. But in the example, what we have seen, the agent was clearly given guardrails and things it shouldn't do, but it still did it. So I think to author AI agents which we think we can rely on is not enough. So we really need to police them and put them in brackets, right? So this is how we do it. So we have our platform, which is for all your data and all your activities in terms of cyber recovery available, and will safeguard you for anything that might be destroyed or changed from humans' identities or attackers. And what we bring in is basically this agentic proxy, which basically says, okay, this ID is able to do this and that. For an AI agent, could be for a human as well, but in general, really to tell or to check, is the agent doing what they're supposed to do, or are they leaving the space of what they actually should be doing? So we will cut we won't allow the call to the LLM, or we won't allow the use of a certain tool, or we won't allow the activity for a certain tool for a specific reason with certain content. So we can even block prompts. So if someone or an AI agent is asking an LLM something which is not allowed by company policy, we will block it. We will report back on the agent. You basically left your authority, and we do not allow this request. Good. If this was interesting, our booth is just out there. I can show you as well how it works, and for example in identity or AI agents, what we can do and how to set up rules. The funny thing is that we for sure as well use AI, right? So all our configuration in the future will be context-based. So I won't do programming regex. I will talk to our console and tell it what it should do. And this is really necessary because this stuff gets extremely complex. And to put this in code, there's only one who's benefiting from it. And this is kind of the machine. So to point back into an LLM, for example, where a decision is made is basically impossible. So you can't really reason why an AI agent or an LLM came to a conclusion. So it's not like asking a child, when did you make the decision to jump from this high tree? So you can't point back into this LLM. So scientists are trying to do this. So really LLMs plus agents are an unpredictable asset in your company or for yourself. Thank you.